Now for the final lesson of the first part of this course, let's just very quickly go over the menu system in Excel 2013. So we've already gone over some of these really basic buttons on the left hand side just here. But what I want to take you over is how this whole menu system works. So each of these buttons across the top is known as a ribbon. So you have the home ribbon, the insert ribbon, the page layout ribbon, and so on. And each one of these ribbons contains a family of buttons or functionality of things you can do in Excel. Home, as we've already seen, tends to contain the most commonly used functionality or the most commonly used buttons in Excel. So you have cut and copy, format painter, which will allow you to copy and paste the format of some text from one place to another. Bold, italic, underline, we've all covered all these things here. Wrap text, merge text. Basic formatting just here. You can change the number of decimal points with these buttons. Conditional formatting will not be covered in this course. It's a slightly more intermediate function. It allows you to colour in cells based upon what's in them. So say you want a red or amber green colour on a management report, depending on how high or low a number is, you can use conditional formatting to do that kind of thing. Formatting as a table is a great way to organize your data in Excel, and we are going to come on to that in the next section. All these colors just here are what's known as cell styles, and it's basically a quick way to format whatever's in your cell. So there's some presets here, green and red and amber, that kind of thing. If you click the drop down here, you can see that you can color in some sort of preset styles with preset fonts in them too, which can be quite useful if you're just very quickly trying to make your spreadsheet look clean and tidy. Over here on the right hand side, you will see that there is a sort button. Now we are going to cover how to sort your data, so if you want to sort it from highest to lowest, A to Z, that kind of thing, can be really, really useful. Next is the insert menu. Now there's only a couple of things on this insert menu that we're going to cover in this course because quite a lot of them are more advanced features. Pivot table here is one of the most useful things that you can ever learn with Excel. It's a little bit further on from the basics. We're not going to cover it in this course, but it's a fantastic way to learn how to analyze data, and it helps you create summary tables, basically. Very, very useful. You can insert pictures and shapes, which is quite straightforward. So you can insert rectangles and circles and things like that, or smart art, which is flow charts basically, and things like that. New in Excel 2013, they have these apps. So you can add web elements like searches and maps into your spreadsheet. In using Excel 2013 so far, I've really not come across a use for these, but you may. The charts here we are going to cover later on in the course. Page layout we will also cover, and that's going to go over how to set your print margins properly. You know, it's not just like a Word document. So when you have a Word document, you have a very well-defined boundary of where you're writing your text on the page. Excel's a little bit different to that because you can extend your text far beyond the right-hand side of the screen here. You know, you could go on for many, many columns, or you could go down many, many rows. So how do you set your print margins to get everything to fit into the page is really, really key. So we are going to cover that. Formulas are how you can do calculations in Excel. There's over 400 of them in Excel 2013. In this course, we're going to cover just a handful of them, and I think even in an advanced course, you're only going to cover 10 or 20 really, really useful ones. But there are literally hundreds of things you can do. The most simple of those you might find on the recently used list: sum and average. For example, you might use sum to sum up a number of values in a list to work out what they total. The data tab here, all we're really going to cover in this lesson is sorting and filters. Filters are quite a useful way of navigating through your data to try to narrow down the selection of data that you're actually viewing at a point in time. Review contains things like spell check and thesaurus, and view allows you to just change the way the page is viewed. So there's various options here, like zooming in or page layout, which will be how it's going to print. Finally, there's a little interesting tab here called Developer. The Developer tab is something for what I would call advanced functionality, which is where you can do something called creating macros. And macros are a kind of code which you can use to automate repetitive tasks in Excel. Now, I do go over that in some of my more advanced courses, and just for now, be aware that it's there, and be aware that it is possible to basically repeat an action in Excel by using code. So the way that you create a table, or color in some cells, or draw a chart, anything like that, you can actually repeat by using macros. There's also the File menu on the far left just here, and that gives you the standard options that you would previously have seen on the File menu in earlier versions of Excel. It's just that it's laid out slightly differently from all the other menus, so it's laid out vertically instead of horizontally. I don't know why Microsoft have done it that way. So you can create a new workbook, open a workbook, save as, print, and so on. So that's an introduction to how to navigate the menus in Excel 2013.